I think change is part of the nature of the human life on the earth. And I think if I look at the future, I would see more and more of dominating of artificial intelligence, for example, as a very key elements in different aspects of life, from economy to education to trade to all aspects of life. And this is where you start really having more and more of algorithms and more of technology that it is really not replacing human, but taking a lot of the tasks that the human used to do in their day-to-day life, freeing them to do something more, if you would like, more sophisticated and more interesting. So I think the era that we are going to enter, or already entered, I think it is really related to how far we will go with artificial intelligence and technology in our life, in all our aspects of life, not only in the area of technology, I think, or communication. It will be really all over the place. And that's why I think countries who are investing in that era will be economically more viable down the road, because to be able to be successful in AI, you need to have the talent, which you prepare through education. You need to have your regulation and policy around data and preserving data and sharing data and how it is related to the privacy of the people. And of course, you need to really have the legal framework so you can really be able to attract more and more, if you would like, of those businesses into your country. So let me start by what we have learned from the last year, I think first. I think we learned that we live together and there is no way we can deal with our problems individually. And I think the pandemic have really showed us how humanity is really connected in the current time, and maybe it have been all the time connected. I think it's proven to be that the challenge of the world, whether it's economical challenges, whether it's health challenges, whether it is educational challenges, it's cross borders. And the only way that we can deal with them is by really finding the right way to collaborate and cooperate in dealing with those challenges. This is, to me, the lessons that we should learn, that going forward, we need to be prepared, because I don't think we were. And even with all those international organizations that we have, I don't think we had really the right mechanism, the right way that countries could have really worked together in trying to battle the challenge that we have received. I think this is maybe the second hit we get to wake up. The first one was on the economical front, and everybody have seen that what have happened in the US impacted banks and companies way far from the political border of the US. And I think health, we have seen that. Culture is with all the social media and all those problems that maybe you face on the level of families, on the level of discrimination, on the level of whatever you could think of. It's no longer can be dealt with as an individual country, as a, within your own borders. That's, I think, put a lot of pressure on the international community, maybe to revamp their organization, to relook at a different way of conducting business across countries, and to redefine what collaboration on the international level means without really violating any of the level of the individuality of the sovereignty of the countries, but really define more, if you would like, channels for sharing information, for collaborating, and for ability to react in the proper time, because timing is making the difference. So if I would label that year, so after all of that, I would say it's maybe the year of adaptation and future looking, because I think it waked up all of us, it gave us the time to reflect and to see what are really the priority in our life. I think it challenged a lot of what we considered as maybe as facts, as norm. And now we have to deal with a different norm. So I think it checked all of that. It gave us time to relook at what we were taking as this is for granted. I don't think anybody felt that one day he cannot leave his house, for example. So I think it's a year of adaptation, change, and reflection. So I think we do not have a choice. I think the problem that I see, that we do not have a choice without really being able to transform. Because if we don't, I think the international society will go ahead of all of us. So if individual countries do not really engage in, as I said, development in AI, development in, for example, looking at your health system, looking at your economical setup, which is, I think it's important. I think you're getting more and more of technology in the economical sector, not only from the sense of companies, but the way you conduct business. Currency is, even though it is not yet there, but I think the cryptocurrency, the electrocurrency will be at one point of a time really heavily used. Do we have the regulation around that? Are we ready for something like this? I think a lot of fintech companies, when it comes to, those are not new, but they are going to be the dominating way of conducting the business. So I think we should change. And if you want to ask me where you start, I think it always go to the root, which is education. You need to graduate people who are capable of evolving and adapting and perceiving the future. You do not want to graduate people who are really a replica of their previous generation. You need to graduate somebody who is really had enough talent to explore the future. You do not want to tell him what the future is. This is not the role of universities and schools. The role of university and school is to give you facts, it gives you talents, it gives you competencies that allow you to use your knowledge to evolve, to adapt, to perceive the future, and to move, and to be able to really be an active citizen, a useful citizen, regardless of what change that world sees. And we all see the failing of countries is not related to how many people were educated in that country. I think the nature of education is making the difference. Whether I can really adapt, whether I can really learn new skills, whether I can really learn new things, this is what's making the difference. Because what's today, it's not going to be in 10 or 15 years or even in 5 years. So you want your kids, you want your next generation to be the one who is really know how to use their knowledge to develop new things. And I think this goes in the heart of everything you need to do transformation. When you speak about creating jobs, you need education, you need entrepreneurs that have learned to take, their ideas into action. When you think about policies, you need people who understand their culture, their circumstances, their setting, but they are able also to perceive what it is needed to be done. I think education would be, and how much you could really give to your citizen would be key success for the country.